way I describe my career, it's like this ladder. The first rung is finishing school. The next rung is getting a job, winning an award, having your own firm, making money. There were no leaps up the ladder. It's like I knew every rung intimately. In those early days, I was just so hungry. I wanted things more than other people. Good projects and making money, building a firm and winning some awards. For some reason, it just wasn't fulfilling enough. I came up with a series of projects for this fictitious company called Virtual Telemetrics to explore the relationship of graphic design in corporate America through parody. And then that really culminated in a show at SF MoMA where we fake took it public. It shifted me from client-driven projects to, hey, I can just come up with something and do it. I formed C2 with two partners who wanted in and I wanted out. I needed to do more that felt meaningful and significant to me. I went to this lecture series and they had this architect, Samuel Mockbee. He was running the rural studio and he would take these young architects, they would design houses, community centers, baseball parks. This experience in rural Alabama profoundly changed the way they thought about architecture. And I said, why isn't there something like this for graphic design? I had moved to the coast of Maine with my family, so I came up with this idea called Project M. We're usually in somewhat distressed places. You have to do something positive in the community. Invent a project, figure out how to get it done with limited budget. I'm most interested in the experience that the participants have. Some of those projects have been successful. The most famous of which is called Pi Lab. They got a space and renovated it, and now it's an ongoing catalyst for the whole downtown of Greensboro. One of the most recent ones is this bamboo bike building project under the label Alabamboo. The concept of thinking wrong came out of how do you force your brain into other ways of solving problems. You're doing it through pie and coffee. But if you don't start with this rich kind of universe of possibilities, you're just working on this narrow little corridor. That's the power of design. And I think I was disillusioned with the state of design that I was practicing. The shift from, I don't like this thing called design, to, oh, wait a second, I can just use that and make stuff happen and make it real. My partner Greg and I started saying, how come Project M is the most fun, satisfying thing we do? How can we take it pro and address some of these big problems of our time? That allowed us to start this new firm called Future. I'm not a natural wrong thinker, but at some point I recognized the value of thinking differently about stuff. My greatest fear would be that I just had an average life. My whole career has been trying to not be average. You're walking down the street, somebody has a dog, you don't pay attention. Somebody has a dog with a hat on, and you go, hey, check out the dog with a hat. There's this compulsion to not have a hat on. Part of crazy ideas is just to put a fucking hat on the dog. Because that's what matters. That's what people pay attention to. That's what changes the game.